I've come to conclude that the nature of nature is balance. All nature is really interested in is to perpetuate her doings in a sustainable and balanced way. Why then, I must ask myself, do I insist on continuing to mow my lawn? It seems nature is not interested in an even, well-groomed, domesticated field of suburban grass. She wants a forest instead. It's merely the drive of my human endeavor that offsets this balance and consumes my time, energy, and Earth's non-renewable fossil-based hydrocarbon-laced resources to bend my 16th of an acre of nature to my short-sighted vision. Is this not a perfect microcosm for much of what we human species do? But right now I can't mow my lawn. My community, like many others, is in quarantine. We're at war with a tenacious enemy who is too small to be seen and whose purpose of self-perpetuation has shut down the whole of human endeavor globally. That's quite an accomplishment for a sub-microbiological organism. Credit where it's due. I look out my window into a sky unmarred by jetliner contrails. The roads are strangely devoid of traffic. The sounding of trains' horns have grown uncharacteristically infrequent, and I marvel at how something so small has created an effect that's so big. My grass continues to grow, but my mower remains silent, despite the desires of my human endeavors. It's a small metaphor for the greater picture of a world over-dominated by unbridled, restless human effort, which are now sidelined by nature. She quietly proves she still has the upper hand, despite what we humans have arrogantly persuaded and deluded ourselves over the past century and a half. My silent lawnmower is a symbol of bombastic human endeavor shuttered by this horrible pandemic. Its gargantuan strip mines and meatpacking plants laid silent. Its factories shuttered, suburban superhighways empty at rush hour, crowded cities still and silent as the grave. Now people huddle alone and in small groups, reduced to a primal state, hiding in their caves from a menace they can't see and don't understand. The worst sort of terror. Nature has a way of reminding us of our place in her greater context. We would be well advised to heed her lessons. But nature's iron backhanded instruction holds a caress, too. Again, her nature, nature's, is one of balance. My uncut lawn is sprouting with flowers. I didn't plant them. Nature did. Usually my gas-guzzling lawnmower devours these blooms, but not right now, so they blossom abundantly. An unexpected gift of life and renewal offered in a time of biological terror, sickness, and death. Looking around my quiet little town, I see unexpected flowers of many kinds blooming in this forced time out for humanity. It's not just my lawn or the flowering trees of spring. It's families at midday on a weekday, out for walks together. Old married couples, temporarily unharnessed from the demands of dual careers, are out walking hand in hand like the lovers they once were. It's my neighbors on their porches talking to me at safe distance. We actually have time to shoot the breeze, like we usually don't because we're typically so busy running about, tasked by all of our important human endeavors. There's a feeling of community in my community, despite the social distancing, because finally we have time to be present, if only visually. I'm at last getting my children's jokes, because I now have time to listen and understand. It's a wonderful flowering of human being, a rediscovery of human society paradoxically created in a forced suspension of our regular human society. And I like it. Nature creates her balance in unexpected ways, like the tree that presses up from a crack in the parking lot. Perhaps nature, in her lessons of balance, is forcing us to stop and realize that we've got to take our time to be human, to ourselves and one another, to be present, rather than living the proverbial life that happens while we're making other plans, that ongoing treadmill of ever-increasing incline of vaulting modern expectations. Perhaps through a disease that takes away one's breath, we are collectively being reinstructed to stop and breathe and be. Maybe we need to spend a little more time to find our place in the balance of things, like the balance of nature's intended plan, rather than continuing to bulldoze forward towards the abyss of our own collective and individual destruction. It's a lesson we best heed, or nature will be forced to reinstruct us again. I hope we can see fit to keep more of these serendipitous flowers in bloom, particularly the unexpected grace of our humanity and connection and appreciation of one another. There are some things I hope will never be the same after this pandemic, the tending of these flowers particularly. For now, my lawn will remain unmowed as I spend some time reflecting on these lessons of balance offered by nature in this strange, disturbing, and auspicious time. I pray we never lose this new connection we found collectively with one another in this surreal time of social distancing. Perhaps moving forward, we can allow ourselves time to breathe, be human, and be present to one another in real and meaningful ways, to put to balance the nagging drumbeat of our overwhelming human endeavor. Here's hoping. Wash those hands and stay safe.